Okay, we're going to go ahead and start off with the October 15, 2025 meeting. The Secretary, James was not present, and Philip made a motion to table the Secretary's report. The Treasurer's report, Mary Jo had reported that the Wells Fargo account had $32,002.40. Philip stated that he believed that there was an outstanding bill from the barricades and for the use of the auditorium for the banquet. Business from the Board. The Board of Directors is working out a response to the TxDOT issues with the crosswalk. There was a letter issued from TxDOT stating that the crosswalk should be removed to rid streets of political ideology. Last month, we discussed that we might not have the repercussions from the federal claims regarding aesthetic crosswalks, but as of October the 8th, San Antonio received a letter from TxDOT requesting San Antonio use taxpayer funding to remove rainbow crosswalks at Evergreen and Main. The letter stated that the city could file an exemption request claiming exemption from the removal of the crosswalks by citing safety statistics and urgent, compelling community interest. So the Board of Directors will be on top of the situation, supporting the city's move to push back against the overreach of the state government. On the website, Minda was not present, so Philip requested to table the website. Softball, Philip stated that the Pride San Antonio, aka known as the San Antonio Pride Softball League, sent 2 teams to the Gay Softball World Series, and one team in 17th place, and the other team won their division overall, gaining national recognition to San Antonio. San Antonio Q-Fest, the event was well received, and the staff and management of city-based cinema was incredibly supportive and helpful. There will be many filmmakers in attendance this year. The committee is also looking for volunteers to join the committee. We will be opening the film submission portal for 2026 festival at the beginning of the year. Volunteer beneficiaries. Philip reiterated that the continuing need for volunteers for all events. Crosswalk community issues. Philip reported that the Pride San Antonio is prepared to push back on the crosswalk issue. TxDOT is claiming 2 different issues. They are claiming both traffic distractions and the claim of ideology. Other old business to other business from the board. New business. Third, Unity in the Community Forum is tentatively planned for Wednesday, December the 17th, 2025 at Woodlawn Point. Anna reported to the Board of Directors fielding options for Pride San Antonio Bigger Than Texas Entertainment in 2026. Registration for 2026 will be opening sometime in January once the IT developer gets the servers upgrade and online for the new year. Mary Jo stated that we need to plan on the parade awards as well as the annual turkey show, La Correa. She suggested that we may be combined hosted early in November. And then Pride San Antonio is a registered nonprofit corporation in the state of Texas. The purpose of this, and that's just the end of the minutes. Okay. I do apologize, I read it out of order because I should have had the September one first. So, this is from September the 17th, 2025. Secretary's report. James presented the minutes from the August meeting. The approval of motion was made by Autumn to approve the minutes and the second by Michael Anderson. Treasurer's report. Mary Jo presented the bank account for the Wells Fargo to be $42,669.09. Motion made to accept the Treasurer's report and seconded by business from the board. Philip, Mike Anderson, Mary Jo, and James reported that the Board of Directors have documentation regarding the small individual fundraisers that are conducted in satellite settings, such as softball events. 2023-2024 IRS 990 was presented to the group and copies distributed as necessary. Website Minda was not able to make the meeting, but requested to table website graphics and report. Sports. James reported that the softball league is stating the fall open season, which is the recreational season. We currently have teams at both the Women's Plus World Series as well as the Gay Softball World Series, and will return within the week. The spring season is considered competitive for both Pride Co-Ed and Women's Plus because of the season ending. San Antonio Q-Fest. James reported that the Q-Fest committee had been programming meeting at August the 25th and would be scaling back to 1 theater at city-based cinemas. The overall number of films submitted was slightly down from 2025. The quality is still high for this year, but overall submission, especially from the schools, are slightly down for the season, is largely believed to be political climate that we're living under. There are only two LGBT film festivals surviving in Texas: Austin Gay and Lesbian Film Festival, AGLIF, and the San Antonio Q-Fest. The closing of the Texas films is also believed to be the intense political pressure within our society now. The film festival will be held at city-based cinemas. The overall cost will be roughly $4,000. This will be a free event with donations possibly coming in. We're programming about 62 films across all genres, and the weekend will be there in the same theater. Pride Week, there are no updates for Pride Week at this time. We're in brainstorming stages of the Rainbow Runway, which is intended to be an event to recognize local artists and designers in art and design schools. Pride Bigger Than Texas for 2026 will be on Saturday, June the 27th, 2026 at Crockett Park. Theme, James reported that Minda is working on the theme contest guidelines for 2026. Once the theme is determined, then they will have the artwork contest and the volunteer certs. Pageant, George reported that the pageant was possibly moving to the month of May instead of having it in the second week of June. This will allow more efficiency utilizing pageant winners' time and schedules. George also reported that the categories are being reviewed for restructuring in 2026. We currently have 4 categories that are considered, adding a 5th category and the MX title. Joanna Lord started the former title holder. She felt that the expanding the categories would be a good thing. Avery Donovan stated that in the categories are changed to update to have a once over the language of the categories to make sure that the category language is current with and appropriate. Some pageants have been using the terms biological female and biological male. James stated that our pageant had a few years back transitioned to the use of the language AFAB, which is assigned female at birth, and AMAB, which is assigned male at birth. James reported that one issue that arose in the pageant this year was that we had a contestant entered and that the stage name was blank motherfucking blank. James reporting that the concerns that would be aware of our surroundings, that who this person is and around us, the language we are using in the general public, especially when we are not in a bar or on adults-only restricted spaces. Volunteer beneficiaries, Elena Gajardo was not present, but she said she would like to volunteer to take on the role of volunteer beneficiary coordinator. James reported that the board of directors considered up with the new email address, and the board would be meeting with her to get her off the ground in the role. Crosswalk and community issues. Philip reported that there were new Pride Cultural Heritage District that was going to be reaching out to the people who affiliated and engaged in the cultural other heritage districts in San Antonio to find out about their experience and progress after the launching out of those districts, to find what challenges may be faced and how we can compare notes and look at the best way to move forward and pushing out for progress. James reported that the company that is currently maintaining the crosswalks will be expanding the coverage to clean up the sidewalks and the sign at Crockett Park. Currently, crosswalks are cleaned every 3 weeks, with an extra cleaning during St. Patrick's Day, Fiesta, Pride, and Halloween. Mary Jo asked about the Trump administration letter to remove the crosswalk. James reported that the Trump deadline was September the 1st, 2026. He stated that this time it looks like we have survived that ideological onslaught, at least for the federal level. James reported that the state of Florida acted quickly to remove the crosswalks in Florida. Mary Jo is concerned that the crosswalks could be suddenly removed by Trump DOT. James reported that the Trump administration sends crews in to remove the crosswalk. We could have a probably fight through the courts. So we would have to be vigilant and aware of the fight back before the Trump administration strikes. James reported that James reported that in Florida, most of the crosswalks have been removed, except for including Fort Lauderdale. Governor DeSantis Fort Lauderdale, where is it?
DeSanctimonious.
Oh, DeSanctimonious. No. Okay, except for a few, including Fort Lauderdale. Governor DeSantis parroted the statement that Trump, DOT, and other many cities contemplated rolling over and removing the crosswalks rather than have DeSantis remove them like he did in one at Pulse, Orlando. James stated that the Texas goes the way of Florida, the legal action would probably have to be an outcome order to protect the crosswalks. We would need the city to stand up and defend the crosswalks since we have an ordinance. James also reported that in late August, the city of Fort Lauderdale held a rally followed by the city council meeting in which the gay mayor implored the city to defend the crosswalks, and the city council unanimously voted to file an appeal to DeSantis to save the crosswalks, and they then voted to secure a legal team to fight the DeSantis denied their appeal. A discussion that ensued with the remedies were thrown out of court, so we now have to effectively fight. We need to include legal measures if necessary. Other old business, no other old business at this time. New business bylaw proposal. The San Antonio Pride Softball League submitted to the bylaws committee following a proposal changing the bylaws. The changes are ultimately updated to coordinate language being utilized by the National Softball organizations and membership in them. Current Article 6 of the Pride San Antonio bylaws outlaws the establishment of the San Antonio Pride Softball League, where we created the San Antonio Pride Softball League as becoming a member of NAGA, North American Gay Athletics Association Alliance, which since evolved into Pride Softball, aka International Pride Softball. Article 6 outlines the titles of the officers of the San Antonio Pride Softball Leagues as co-commissioner male, co-commissioner female. The proposal to change those titles is reflected in the updated nature of the structure of the league and defined by our national membership in the Pride Softball and Asana leagues. The proposal to change co-commissioner male to co-commissioner male to commissioner iPride and co-commissioner female to commissioner women's plus. The rationale for these changes was to reflect changes happening at a national level in which our professional membership, the challenge would be changed. Positions 4, 5, 6, and 7, and 8 would become under the following: competition coordinator, athletic coordinator, operations coordinator section. There would be, these three changes would be in part of section 3, which would agree to the changes in section 2, would update titles, including secretary, treasurer, public relations coordinator. 3 of the board members, competition coordinator, athletic coordinator, and operations coordinator will be elected into even number years, and 2 of the board members, secretary, treasurer, and public relations coordinator would be elected in an odd number of years within 2-year terms. Under board eligibility, section 4, they are recommending that the change of the attendance rule, the initial wording of section 4, said board members remained in good standing and have an attendance at 75% of meetings and games, but we have added a new standing tournament during Veterans Weekend. The proposal to change the language to read attendance requirements for San Antonio Pride Softball Board eligibility to read attendance at 75 meetings, games, and events. The proposal also recommends that any reference to NAGA and Asana would be changed to reflect the current national affiliations would be changed to iPride and Women's Plus. Philip reported that the expectation the San Antonio Pride Softball League had a discussion in an open forum format and that it had a very specific and deliberate rationale must be submitted with any bylaw proposal. A motion made by James to submit the changes officially in the next eligible bylaw change meeting would be September 2026. The motion was seconded by Autumn. There are no additional discussions, clarification requested. The motion passed with 1 abstention, which was James. James reported that Pride's SA was finalizing the details and restating that the San Antonio Gay Dart League and the Pride San Antonio Gay Basketball League, they hold up the starting of the basketball league in regarding the overall cost and trying to reduce those which as much as possible. Basketball, due to the size and the teams and the executing the entire season would be with playoffs could be very expensive, so there will be some meetings scheduled in the near future to discuss that with both of those programs.
So for November, we didn't have a quorum and there were no members present, so we went ahead and tabled the November meeting because we couldn't meet without a quorum. And so Mariah's going to read the January minutes, and that will have us up to date until last month. I can. So I want to, I'll let her introduce herself.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Mariah Medina. I am a San Antonio attorney, former investigative reporter at News 4 San Antonio. Prior to that, a journalist in this community, born and raised in San Antonio. So I am now going to ASMR this reading of minutes. So public comment is not a normal section of the Pride San Antonio meetings. The section is added for clarification of the lawsuit. There were 5 people who spoke during this public comment section. The 5 people, including attorney Justin Nichols. Justin outlined the background of the legal case and how it all played out in court. He explained in full detail how the lawsuit was filed. He explained the legal concepts of multi-party litigation. He stated that both parties were asking for the city council to hold meetings, but for different reasons, and the 2 lawsuits would have gone to the same court with the same judge, would have had separate judgments rendered. And when that happens, the court allows the lawsuits to be filed together with one filing fee, knowing that they will be handled by the same judge and in the same courtroom and setting. James requested to table the minutes, the previous meetings, due to the extended public comment section added to this meeting. Michael Anderson seconded the motion. Mary Jo reported that we currently have a bank balance of $22,000, $58.22, with about $5,175 in pending deposits. Motion to approve the treasurer's report made by James and seconded by Mike Anderson. There were no questions, and the motion passed. Business from the board. James reported that the only business to report is that the November meeting did not move forward due to not having a quorum of board members, and there was no members present. And the other business from the board was the lawsuit report that was reported in public comments by Attorney Nichols. The website, Minda reported by proxy that all sites were up to date. Sports, James reported that the softball opening ceremonies for spring 2026 would begin on Sunday, February 22nd, and Judge Cesar Garza would be throwing out the first pitch. James reported that we had 2 teams that put us on the national map by performing remarkably at the Gay Softball World Series. Pride San Antonio was represented by 1 team that came in 17th place and 1 team, quote, Team Plastics, that won their division. San Antonio Q-Fest. James reported that submissions for this season was just open in January, and we already have over 20 submissions in less than a month. The festival will take place in 2026 at city-based cinemas over, quote, Coming Out Weekend, which is October 9th through 11th. Pride Ride to Nyosa. James reported that Pride Ride was initially scheduled for April 21st, but he asked to table that discussion until the next meeting and have a possible discussion for the canceling of this year. Mike seconded the motion to table. And as for the Fiesta Frenzy, James reported that the Fiesta Frenzy is a Pride fundraiser for the Greg Hinojosa Memorial Scholarship and is now in the planning stages. We are looking for an appropriate venue. We hosted it here at Woodlawn Point last year, and it was an amazing experience here. We're looking forward to hosting it here again for 2026, and more information about the theme will be forthcoming. As for Pride Bigger Than Texas, James reported that we should be releasing the theme at the next meeting. Early in the fall, the board discussed having a theme that was trans-related, but now, with all that has transpired within the last couple of weeks, the board is reconsidering the theme for the release in March. As for the pageant, Chris Crouch reported that the committee is in talks about moving the pageant into May. He suggested that we post the score sheets in advance so people who are interested in competing will know the categories in advance. Membership, volunteers, beneficiaries, everybody listen loud. James requested to table the discussion in this section until the next meeting because Autumn seconded the motion to table. But we do need membership, volunteers, and beneficiaries. So, as for the crosswalk and community issues, other old business, and new business, James reported that prior to the meeting, the board of directors met with the attorney and the board has decided to execute Article 2, Section 10, Subsection 10 of the Pride San Antonio bylaws. Article 2, Section 10, which declared exigent circumstances, which allowed the board of directors to reset in times of exigent circumstances and appoint any and all necessary board members. As for announcements, Mary Jo announced about the parade awards and the turkey show loteria. Michelle Corman, announced her Transtastic show coming up at the end of the month at SA Country.
Adjourned at what, 7?
9:10.
9:10. All right, so I ask for a motion to accept the secretary's report up to January and table February's report.
Motion to accept.
All those in favor, say aye, raise your card. Motion carries. All right, Treasurer's report, Mary Jo.
Our account at Wells Fargo is at $22,427.29, and we're still pending that $5,175.
Part of it's coming from the city and part of it's coming from a delayed sponsor. Okay, business from the board.
So the business from the board, the only business from the board that we have is, because I don't have it anywhere on the agenda, is the announcement of Mariah, which she's introduced herself. She's going to be joining our legal team, and so you'll see more of her from time to time, but she's already announced herself. So that's the only thing that's happened since the last meeting.
Okay, website, Minda's not here. She's working with our website engineer to get everything up and running as far as the registration goes, not only for the parade, but also for the festival. And so they've been actively testing that information there as well. Sports, James, we have softball.
So softball was started on the 22nd, I believe, of February, and we are currently in what's called our open season. iPride used to refer to it as co-ed, but it's not considered co-ed anymore. It's considered open. So that season will end sometime at the beginning of April, and then it will be immediately followed by the women's season, which will run for about 5 to 6 weeks after that. They don't have any current the fundraiser was last weekend, so they don't have anything else coming up. We have 17 teams, and each of those teams, I'm not sure, they have to have a minimum of 12 players because we don't want to deal with forfeits, but we have 17. It's a record number of teams this year. We have 17.
Okay, QFest, James.
So QFest, everything is still in place for QFest. We are still adding members to that committee because as we get closer to the summer, we're going to be really snowed under with film submissions. But everything is still in place October the 9th through the 11th at City-Based Cinemas on the south side off of Military and New Braunfels, it's just south of the state hospital, I believe.
And just as a reminder, QFest is a free event offered here in the city of San Antonio, which we have over there at City-Based Theaters, which is located off of Southeast Military Drive. It's a wonderful event. We're able to raise money through our other ventures in which we can pay for QFest to be there as a free event offered by Pride San Antonio. And just as... All right. And next we have the Pride March in Niosa.
Can I ask a quick question?
Sure.
Sorry. If there's a movie we would like to see presented there, is there, and I think you've said it before, but I can't remember, is there a way we can recommend a movie or no?
So the way that works is it would have to be submitted by the filmmaker because we don't reach out for films, they submit them through the website. So if a filmmaker wants to submit the film, they can go ahead and they would submit it because they have to upload documents and they have to upload all of the information. But we don't request films because we get a lot of films come in and we can't show or screen all of them. We screen all of them, the judges screen all of them, but we can't screen them in a public setting. There's just too many for the weekend. And plus, when we judge them and actually, Sebastian, can you come here real quick? Would you want to kind of Sebastian does a lot of our judging, and Sebastian, you can kind of talk about what we look for on those films, because we don't publicly screen everything, and there's a number of reasons. It has to do with numbers sometimes, but also Sebastian can kind of give you the criteria of what we're looking for.
So when we judge the films, and I've been working with QFest since 2016, 2017, we look for things such as sound balancing, how the image looks in the film, how it's balanced in frame. We look for how the actors are acting, how the writing is, all that sort of stuff. Like, we look at it as a whole. On top of that, depending on different things, we try and apply a rating, and we try and follow the standard rating of films, PG, PG-13, MA-17, all that stuff. We try and apply those ratings to the films. That way we can figure out, hey, if kids see this film, is it all right? Or is this more for like just adults? Because we do have an adult time and place for these films, and we try and make it more family friendly. We definitely, don't want a kid seeing something they probably shouldn't at a certain age. But yeah, it's a lot of work, a lot of time and effort at home, just scanning through these films, and some of them are short, 15, 20 minutes. Some of them, unfortunately, are a little longer. Sometimes they get 2-3 hours long, and we also have to take that into consideration as well, as somebody willing to sit down and watch this film for as long as it runs. It's a lot of stuff that goes into judging this film, and we try and pack as much as we can into each and every day. We run it from like morning all the way until nightfall.
So actually, Michelle, if a film, do you know the filmmaker personally?
I don't, since I have some time on my hands.
Oh, okay. Well, if you can contact the filmmaker, and they can email film@pridesanantonio.org, and then they can begin the process. But we don't necessarily go out. We will in some cases. Like, I can say that you're familiar with the Mama Jose documentary. So because of the theme from that year for Pride, and because we had been working with the international court system, and because this, we had met Mama Jose, we did contact that filmmaker, but then the filmmaker still went through the regular submission of submitting the film. So, but film at pridesanantonio.org, and they can get the ball rolling through that.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. All right, so one thing that I did forget to mention during business from the board is Pride Ride to Niosa. We have discussed that, and as of, we decided we're not gonna host that event this year. We put that on hold just because of the amount of time and effort involved, and that really requires a lot of work from the beneficiaries. So Pride Ride to Niosa, we will not be hosting that event after all. Fiesta Frenzy, we are still moving forward with that. It's to be held here. It is April the 22nd. It is a fundraiser for the Greg Hinojosa Memorial Scholarship, which we created 2 years ago in honor of Greg Hinojosa that passed. It's a fiesta drag show, and it raises money for students that are graduating seniors that are going into the career of arts. And so they will submit an application, they'll submit a resume, they'll submit their screenshots and sometimes videos of some of the work that they've done. Fiesta Flambeau, that is on I believe it's the 26th of April, and we have, marchers and whatnot that are involved in that, but we'll be having discussions between now and then, but we don't have anything to report on that right now. Pride Bigger Than Texas, the theme, we do have the theme. The theme this year is going to be From Our Roots, and that is when, in looking back at some of the everything, the storm that happened during the month of January, we started looking and it's the From Our Roots theme is something that we'd been wanting to have. We were kind of pushing it down the road a couple of years, but we decided to go ahead and bring that forward and go ahead and have From Our Roots this year. So we are currently working with a veteran of the Stonewall Rebellion who is most likely going to be one of our grand marshals. and we just finalizing some things with that. So the Pride pageant, we're hoping to host that in May, and that is, we talked at the last meeting that we're going to be putting out the score sheets ahead of time, because that was a request from the contestants from last year. And that we're looking at hosting it here. We haven't decided exactly. It's normally hosted at the bottom, but we were looking at this site because we have hosted other drag shows here. So there's a possibility that the pageant may be here. I know that George is on the phone right now. George is going to work with Chris Crouch, and Chris is not here, right? No. Okay. All right. So George will work with Chris Couch and get that out. As far as the Pride Bigger Than Texas, the parade and festival, the registrations are online now. There were some glitches that we had to work out with the IT guy and Minda, but those, we do have registrations that are coming in. So currently, I think today is the deadline for the initial. We had, the registrations are in phases. We have the Unity in the community registration, which is a special registration price for people who had been in the parade before and been in the festival before, and they can come back in and they pay the discounted price that they had before. Then the next starts tomorrow, and that will be the regular early bird registration, and that will go through the end of March. April the 1st through the 30th will be the regular registration, and May the 1st through May the 31st will be late registration. So late registration will end up with a $100 late fee added to it. So that's just one thing to be aware of. But the registration, there were a few kinks and things that were not showing up, the pages that weren't showing up, and we had to work that out with the IT guy. And so we reloaded the website and relaunched it, but it's all ready to go. The insurance this year, I know last year we had a strange thing with the insurance where the insurance had to go through us because of the underwriters. We have a new underwriter this year, same insurance company, but a different underwriter, and the underwriter is wanting to go back to the way that it used to be, which makes it a lot easier on us because we don't have to worry about all of that paperwork, nor all of the risk and stuff that's involved because it's going directly through the underwriter. So every entry needs insurance. Whether you're doing a festival booth or a parade, you're gonna have to have insurance. It's required. We have to carry a $7 million insurance policy just to host the event, but every individual vendor or participant needs to have their own insurance. If you're in the parade, just be aware you're gonna need organizational insurance. And then if you have moving vehicles of any sort in the parade, whether it's an ATV or a motorcycle or a truck or a car, you're gonna need to have motor vehicle insurance as well. So you'll need organizational insurance, which covers you and any members of your organization should something happen. And then you'll also need the motor vehicle insurance as well. All right, so Pride San Antonio, the link is on the website, but also you can go to pridesanantonio.viventa.com, VEVENTA.com. All entries have to create a new profile. That's new for this year. All right, so membership volunteer beneficiaries. So we need to announce our new membership coordinator, which is going to be Joe Boyd of Camp NACTI. And so we can go ahead and turn over the microphone to him right now.
Hey everybody, I'm Joe Boyd. So we've been doing interviews for the new board these last couple of weeks, and we are thrilled to announce a couple of new board members. The first one is going to be Sebastian Martinez. Sebastian, stand up, wave. Sebastian here hails from QFest. In addition to advocating for fellow trans people, he loves fish keeping. He has 3 tanks of varying sizes and has been keeping fish for over 6 years. His favorite color is blue, specifically royal blue or navy blue. His secret talent is that he can make balloon animals. For over 10 years, he's worked as an axe thrower, and for a time, the wardrobe manager at the 13th floor. Having been born in the fall, he loves all things pumpkin, spooky, and whimsical. So we're super excited to have you on the board. Everyone, a round of applause for Sebastian, please. The second person is going to be Martin Banda. Martin here is from the San Antonio Roundup. San Antonio Roundup is a fantastic organization here in San Antonio that is focused on promoting sobriety through fellowship. He was born and raised in Flint, Michigan. He's an avid Detroit and University of Michigan sports fan. He's been with his husband for 9 years, which is 18 times longer than I've ever had a relationship. I'm kidding, barely. He has 2 adult daughters and 3 dogs, and he's the middle of 5 children, and he absolutely does suffer from severe middle child syndrome. Martin, please stand up and wave. So Martin is from a finance background, so I'm hoping that he's going to be able to do fantastic things here at Pride San Antonio. The next one is Pete Hernandez, who is hiding all the way in the back, but he's very tall, so hard to miss. Pete here comes to us from Beat AIDS. Beat AIDS is a wonderful nonprofit here in San Antonio that works to provide life-saving support to those affected by HIV. His favorite hobby is art. He loves drawing, painting, and he just started doing clay sculptures. In addition to his art, he also plays percussion with the Pride of San Antonio show band. Something he's very proud of is he marched in the San Antonio Fiesta Parade all 4 years of high school and only passed out once. So this guy's a trooper, and he's gonna need it. Everybody, a round of applause for Pete, please. The next person is Jasmine Blake. Jasmine, please stand up and wave. Jasmine here graces us from We Are Alive. We Are Alive is a nonprofit here in San Antonio that helps families impacted by chronic illness, which I think is amazing. She comes from the south side of San Antonio, so careful. She started doing drag at 22 years old, and she's been doing it now for years. You're welcome, girl. These people can do math. He has a chihuahua named Bella, so he is a proud fur baby. So, once again, congratulations to everyone who's made it to the board. They will all be taking over spots on the transition board, and we are thrilled to have them. There's actually one that I'm about to announce, so just hold your horses. Well, in addition to the absolutely stunning miss over here, the next person that I'm about to announce is Siege. I waited last because she wasn't able to make it tonight, but I'm actually going to have James talk about her.
All right, Siege is a businesswoman. She's from the insurance industry. She's a golfer. One of the things that she has been trying to work on is getting, we've been planning to have a golf tournament during Pride Week, and so that's one of the things she's been doing some of the background on. She's worked on the film festival. She is recently retired from the insurance industry and is spending her time working as a semi-pro golf expert out on the northeast part of town. She's been married for about 7 years. Her name is Siege Jones. Carol Jones goes by Siege, and she often volunteers working sort of pseudo-security at Pride Bigger Than Texas at Crockett Park. You'll often see her riding around in the golf cart, and she's works directly with the police and the security to, she's had to take out some drones that have made their way into Crockett Park. She deals and communicates with, we often have protesters and things, and so she'll kind of head up and go out and make contact with the protesters and stuff. And she makes sure that things are going right in the line. She also is the driver for the high heel race that drives the MC. So she's been volunteering with Pride for at least 10 years with her wife, yes.
In answering the question about where are the lesbians, is the thing is about volunteering to step up. That's the thing, is that people have not volunteered to step up to do it. That's the key, is if we hadn't done applied, we would have interviewed them, but none applied.
This is my fourth meeting
Well, you have it now, ma'am. So fill it out and we can look it over.
Oh, okay. So, before the meeting, I did ask Philip a question, and thank you, I found it in here, about the thing, because I know that some of the stuff that's been online that's, you know, people are saying things that aren't exactly, some are saying true stuff, some are saying not true stuff, and so I know some of the complaint was that you guys are handpicking people, right? And so I see it in there, and thank you, Laura, for reading it out here, and I found it. My question is this, because I don't want to see people like tear y'all down anymore. So my question is this, you do have the right to pick people, because that's what it says, and so far it sounds like you picked some great people, but also on here it says that they need to meet the requirements or fulfill the requirements of Article 2, Section 7. So I'm just asking, because that's a whole lot of stuff in there, so I'm just making sure that they are, so that way nobody can say anything else, and we heard it from you, because they can read your bylaws too. And I know before there was a thing where people like, oh, they were online, and so now they are, and so I read them because I want to be informed. So are people meeting those requirements that are on here in order to be a board member?
What is your
Answer your
So what
question.
is your question again?
So the question is this, right under section 10, where it talks about exigent circumstances and about that you guys have the right that you can appoint someone to fill the current or pending open positions, providing the appointee meets the requirements or fulfills the requirements of Article 2, Section 7 of these bylaws. So I just want to make sure y'all are covered and the people that you are putting on the board are meeting those requirements. So nobody else can say, well, look at it again, they're doing this. So I'm just asking the question that they, that they meet it. And if you don't-
Yes, they are meeting the requirements of the bylaws, yes.
Okay, and that's fine. I was just asking that question. Thank you.
If I can add something, in talking to the board, I have also tasked them with creating a little more flexibility, because time commitments is one thing, but there are other needs of this group. And so if a prospective board member can fulfill a need, a very, very important need of this group, then we should create an avenue to board membership for that. But they're also looking into that right now. So it's not operating in, a cone or a vacuum. But yes, that's a great question. And those members are, in fact, meeting those requirements. But they are exploring currently additional avenues to board membership.
Thank you for the clarification.
Yes.
So as one of the elected board members that are coming up, I just want to let you know that I have 10 years plus experience with Pride San Antonio, working with them, close handling and making sure that everything is going down smoothly for Pride and any other events. I open the floor to all the other members to if they want to explain themselves how many years that they have working with Pride San Antonio.
I'd also like to just point out that each one of the candidates went through an extremely rigorous interview. It lasted over an hour with most of them. So the candidates were not just handpicked randomly. There's a lot of thought going into each one of these people to make sure that they'll be able to do the job that they're being hired to do.
Please know I was not attacking because I see the people stand up and there's some good people.
I don't think that. You're amazing.
Okay, so there's nothing new to report on the crosswalk community issues at this time, other than the fact that I have been in touch with Fort Lauderdale, because I know that Fort Lauderdale, their gay mayors and the city council sued DeSantis and the state of Florida to save their crosswalk, and there's a decision that should be coming. It's imminent. It should be coming anytime now, hopefully during the month of March. So as soon as I hear back from him, we can report on at least their situation, because I know that we did start following that back in the fall when we were dealing with our own things. All right.
Okay. Any other old business? Okay, no other old business, new business. The membership coordinator, Joe Boyd, again.
Yes, I'd like to make a motion, if possible. Okay, I'd like to make a motion to revoke the membership of Ben Asovio for slander against the organization as per the bylaws.
Okay, so we have a motion made to rescind Ben Acovio's membership by order of the bylaws, and then Autumn seconded.
There's still supposed to be discussion, so we're gonna have a discussion
We're
about
going to have a
that.
discussion, yes. Okay, and then, Joe, you want to go ahead and tell the reason why?
For slander as per the bylaws over the course of the last 3 months on social media, and as far as I can tell, in every form of media.
Yeah, specifically what is the question we all have? Yeah.
I
We
can
need specifics.
give a reason. One of the reasons is he's constantly saying that and today, you just posted today online that nobody's posting meeting
Yeah.
dates, but it's a standing, you go to the website right now, it's a standing pop-up that's on there that says when the meeting is, and you're constantly going out.
Okay, I have your answer. Can I reply to that now? We have your answer.
Let's go ahead and do it this way.
Yeah,
If
please.
you'd like to make any comments, if you can please line up in the middle here.
No, but I'm the one that, again, I'm being voted on, so I get to have a discussion right
no,
now.
of
So,
course.
yeah.
If you'd
So,
like to make comments,
Yeah,
please.
I'm good right there. Trust me.
I'll give you the,
And I'm glad
that
that's the first one you picked.
I'm sorry?
Many of us have been talking, not just one specific group.
That James Poindexter deleted a lot of comments and Facebook posts, not only from his own profile, but from the Pride San Antonio one. And the thing is there's a video, and that's the video where you say that you did nothing and said nothing. So we're gonna go after social media posts. That's the first one that I suggest we look at versus accusing I slandered. Because again, at the last meeting, the community that was all here was frustrated with what you did when it came to the social media post that you didn't post about the meeting today, and about the one in January. And then the fact that y'all did it again today, after you did post on social media for the February one, y'all are wish-washy. That immediately wish-washy.
as for the posting of the meetings, it was posted on the website. As far as it not being posted on social media, I have no reason to doubt that your recitation of facts is incorrect, and that can be immediately corrected in the future.
And the thing is that there's a technology aspect for nonprofits that you need to be held accountable. That anything that y'all post, you need to have actually documentation that it's there's a backup copy. That there's always a backup copy of what y'all posted. There's actually a rule in the law that any nonprofit that posts on their social media, you have to keep a copy just like any other business organization has to do.
Okay, thank you, sir. Is there anybody else that would like to speak?
Now we're gonna go one by one on the Senate part.
What I say is going to be from my heart. You don't judge me for the people that I live with or that I hang around with. I disagree on the motion. Because in reality, that was not on the agenda until now, number one. Number two, no one sent an email, replied to him, we received your email and we received your letter under the door. Transparency and communication is the key to keep this organization running. Just as Jasmine said, we've worked many countless hours for this organization to be torn apart. I'm appalled at your handpicking people when in November or September, I think we read in the bylaws, that's when the new board can be elected. To me, I feel you're handpicking those people which is not according to the bylaws. So that is where me as a member, and I did sign in today, so I do know that I am a member, I'm appalled at this action against Ben. Ben has done nothing but to clarify what is going on in the organization from a member standpoint. Do I agree or disagree on certain items that he wrote? That's my opinion. But the fact is that no one acknowledged that they received his email and received that letter under the door is what he is talking about. So in order for this organization to move forward, transparency between the board and the coming people need to be transparency. I think that's the biggest thing from January until now, and I missed the last meeting, but trust me, it all got out. But again, I'm just a member of this organization, so please take those items into consideration. Thank you.
Nobody is just a member. You're very important to this organization. Does anybody else have any other remarks that they would like to provide? Ms. Michelle, here you go.
Of course, I don't know if you need this to hear me, but I understand there's a lot of frustration, and I understand on both sides, right? I don't feel like it ever had to get this far. What I will say is I have read a lot of the posts, and I see people come after you guys horribly, right? What I do see is that and I don't know Ben, but I have seen where he's come and has been respectful at meetings, and he's tried to ask a question, right? I also know that I don't like to slam people, whoever, whether I agree with them or not, so I try to go with them privately on their social media. And I have had some conversations with him, and I see his frustration. I'm not saying everything that he posts maybe is 100% correct, but I see people on here that have posted stuff that is not 100% correct. Now, I do know that because you guys are trying to go through and have a board, which I did read the bylaws, and, you know, I do know that you actually can do what you guys did with the exigent circumstances, because that's why I asked you before the meeting, so I saw that. With that being said, I don't know that we should turn members away, and, you know, I haven't seen everything, and maybe I have missed some stuff that he's posted, or he's posted stuff out of anger, but I guess right now, like, if you have somebody that's willing to be heard and listen, you know, and you are picking new board members, should we erase someone's membership when all this stuff is going on and we're trying to make it better? So that's just my only thing. I'm not saying whether let's keep them or remove them, but like, let's literally think about this right now, because I don't know if we can afford to just keep losing people. That's just my 2 cents.
Thank you very much for your input. Yeah, of course. Hey, don't worry about it.
So you mentioned slander, and I asked for specifics. The thing is that I went through the grievances, so I expect those specifics to be exactly any post that I did. Tell me what specific is that was slander, because I'm looking at you now, because I know we've had words. And that's the difference. That's between member to member. But when it came to the organization, what did I say that was bad about the organization specifically? Because we still have the right to free speech, and that's what you're trampling on here with that slander. So that's all I have left to say on that, on the whole topic at this point.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, Joe, thank you for your motion and Autumn for your second. I'm going to ask that, okay, Autumn's not, okay. I'm going to ask that, that the entire board table this motion until the next meeting so that we can discuss the motion at hand. So, do we have a second? Okay. Do you accept the amendment to your motion that we're going to table it? Okay. Anybody, Mary Jo, Manuel, any? Okay.
Is there any other additional new business?
I have a question, please.
I have a question about the membership revocation that's being tabled for now. The bylaws state that removal of membership can occur for several reasons, one of them including slander. But it also says that in order to suspend or revoke a membership or expel a member, there must be 1/4 vote of the board provided a quorum is present for the vote, and that the member has a right to appeal the decision to the general membership, to which the general membership must reinstate the member. I don't see anything in writing that says you can table this to have a private conversation about a revocation.
So as it relates to the actual motion, it has to carry in order for it to be valid. And since it's been tabled, it doesn't carry. So
My question is, the bylaws do not state that the board can go into a private session to discuss membership revocation.
it's not being decided today
They're tabling it for another meeting,
for another meeting.
for a board meeting.
For a public meeting. Correct.
Okay. Can I ask a question about the exigent circumstances?
Sure, of course.
Perfect. So exigent circumstances means that there's a real emergency when something is necessary to be done. This is something that is defined as sudden, urgent, or unforeseen that requires immediate board action. It does not allow a board to skip normal procedures when they are waiting on things that would or could cause harm. This does not allow, just you saying an emergency, it does not allow a board to skip elections or appoint new board members just because it's easier. You cannot override membership voting rights unless there is an emergent reason or exigent circumstances. That's a legal definition of exigent circumstances. I would think that an exigent circumstance would be death or something similar, and not appointing 4 or 5, I didn't count how many new board members were going to be appointed, but that doesn't seem to me like it's an exigent circumstance. That seems to me like it's convenience and a lack of transparency.
Thank you.
Okay, so while I do understand what she is saying or asking, I then look at section 10 for special circumstances under 3. It does say exigent circumstances by standard definition is any situation or event that is deemed urgent or in need of immediate action as determined by affirmative vote of 75% of the current board of directors. Now, I know when everybody had issues back in January and I came to that meeting, I know y'all explained that you guys are going to do that. And so the only thing is if I go by your bylaws, right, as long as 75% of the current board voted on this, it's valid. Now, I do understand what she's saying, and I do also get that taking, tabling this section, right, might be in his favor because they're thinking, well, maybe we should discuss this just to make sure we didn't act too soon. Because a lot of times, and in the organization I'm in, we all know that we're like, whoop, and we do something, we're like, crap, now we can't take it back, or we made a fool out of ourselves, right? So to me, at least for me, that's what I'm thinking, that maybe they're like, okay, well, let's see if we're acting too soon. So that's just, again, my 2 cents.
Thank you very much. With that, I don't know that we have any additional comments, no new business. Is this okay? An adjournment?
Okay, I entertain a motion to adjourn. Motion to adjourn.
So I just want to make sure, we're ending the meeting, right? Okay, so, and because I submitted the grievances within the respected time frame, that's not going to get any mention because y'all decide to charge me with slander first to try to get around it. I just want to make sure that that's clear.
So everything is being tabled right now.
Okay.
Everything is in suspension right now.
Okay.
People made some very great points tonight, yourself included, asked some very pointed questions, and so the board wants to ensure that they're reflecting on the entirety of the contributions of the crowd tonight. And so with that in mind, again, everything is suspended, frozen.
Okay, I just want to make sure.
Next meeting, public meeting, not board. Which is on April 15th. Wait. April 15th. Okay, so we had a motion to adjourn and we had a second. So therefore, we are adjourned. It's 8:29 p.m. Thank you all for your participation this evening.